So last month, I was in a coffee shop, sipping a latte, and I was talking to a business friend of mine. I hadn't seen this business friend for months. And he was asking me, how are you doing? How's your life going? And I noticed how confident I was, how relaxed. There was no conflict, no stress, no second guessing about what to say or not to say or how to say it differently. Really an amazing place to be. And I meet a lot of people who like to be at that stage, like to be that comfortable and authentic, but they never reach it. And it makes me sad to think about those people because it also makes me think of my dad. He had goals and dreams and aspirations, and he never got there because he never reached that level of authenticity. And these people, they struggle with their identity, they wrestle with peace in their life, with connection and greatness and personal freedom. And it's really sad because many of us, maybe even most of us, never live their true potential. So coming back to the coffee shop last month, as I was talking, I acknowledged that I'm actually living within peace and connection and greatness and personal freedom. So much so that I call that the 4 things. But I hadn't always been like that. For 40 years, I didn't have lasting peace in my life. For 40 years, I didn't really feel this deep, deep connection with myself or others. Didn't live my life from the place of greatness. I didn't even know that existed. I didn't even know we all have that within us. And for 40 years, I didn't feel free. And the reason? Well, I was living my life according to somebody else's design. I was hiding behind a mask. I was not showing my true self because I didn't really think I had an option. I didn't think it was safe. But I went through some things and I figured it out. I figured out some steps that led me to the 4 things. And those are steps that you can take, to grab your power back and live your life according to your own values. Let me tell you a story. I'm going to take you back in time about 20 years. I'm 31 years old. And I'm walking towards the car in my garage of the apartment building I was living at. It's a cold Saturday in December, and I'm accompanied by my friend. This friend and I, we had become fast buddies over the 3 months prior. And as I was walking to the car, I was feeling this warmth in my chest, and I was feeling this warmth in my belly. And I had the sense of having come home. And this sense was addressing something that I had been missing, not knowing what that was. A few hours earlier, I had made love to a woman, this friend of mine, for the first time in my life. And there was this weekend of bliss, of having come home, but then Monday rolled around. I went back to the real world. And that real world came crashing down on me. I was so out of balance. I was full of shame, full of fear. And I was thinking, if anybody at work learned about this, I would lose my job. And I didn't even feel comfortable sharing this with my family or with my friends. I was thinking back to the people that were complimenting me on my work successes or success at school or in sports. And I thought, if these family members, friends, teachers, if they saw me now, they would certainly not want anybody to be like me anymore. And if I even confessed to myself after 31 years of having been straight that I'm gay now, who would I be? I'd be lost. But I had to get past this. I had to get past this because I wanted to go through life relaxed and with a positive self-image. And I didn't want to fear rejection. I wanted to express my feelings freely that I have for my partner. So I had to come face to face with this. And I know people have goals and dreams and aspirations. They may be business goals, financial goals, lifestyle goals, whatever. Be with a certain person. And maybe that's you. Maybe you have those goals. If it's you, it's paramount that you accept yourself lovingly and express yourself authentically. And why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we just be comfortable and authentic? Well, because we're comfortable with the status quo, because if we make a change, we go into the unknown. The unknown is scary, we can't control it. It's also really scary to let somebody really see you, who you are inside, because we're terrified that people won't like us, that people won't love us, and we're scared that we end up alone, being insignificant. So coming back to that December, almost 20 years ago, I felt disjointed and I felt lost. But something wasn't jiving. Like something on the outside had happened that didn't make sense on the inside. Because underneath all that fear and all that shame, I was having this beautiful sense of having come home. So I made a decision. I decided to just honor that feeling and open up and trust that there is a solution. I didn't know if there was going to be a solution, but I trusted that there is a solution, and I went on to explore that. And maybe there's something missing in your life. Maybe there's something incongruent in your life. And I invite you to open up and just trust that there is a solution, not knowing if there is, and explore the possibility of that solution. So in my case, I took 5 steps. And those 5 steps made all the difference for me. And I'm going to share those 5 steps with you now, and you can use them on your journey. So step number 1, remove all labels, remove all roles. They don't serve us. I was going through life as somebody who was strong and invulnerable, and also as an overachiever. So growing up in my family, in my society, it was not safe to show my feelings. I would be insulted, reprimanded, ridiculed. So I knew to keep them to myself and to just tuck them away. And also I had mistaken admiration for love. But that wasn't serving me. I was now identifying myself with something on the outside that wasn't jiving with how I felt on the inside. And what happens when we're a parent and our children leave their home? What happens when we're an executive or a manager and our employment contract gets terminated? Who are we? What happens when we're a spouse and our partner asks us for a divorce? Who are we? Well, we're still the same person. We're still who we are on the inside. And, I invite you to just fire all those roles. Fire yourself as a parent, as a spouse, as a big brother, a big sister, even as a man or a woman. Just be yourself, who you are on the inside, and project that, be that on the outside. It won't work the other way around. Step number 2, feel your feelings. Find a safe place and feel your feelings. Don't make up a story. Don't judge them. Don't categorize them in good or bad. Don't become the victim. Just feel them and acknowledge them. I had pushed away my feelings so much. But they kept coming back. This shame and this fear kept coming back. So eventually I said, okay, I just have to feel them, and I did for many hours in my place, in a safe place by myself. And you know, when we don't feel our feelings, when we suppress our feelings, there's research out there even, lots of research. It will have a negative impact on our health, on our physical health, on our mental health. And let me just mention one here. So there were researchers and experts from Harvard School of Public Health, Columbia University, University of Rochester. And they studied over 700 people for a period of 12 years in the US, from 1996 to 2008. And they found that among the people that suppressed their emotions, there was a 35% higher risk of premature death from all causes. When they looked at specific causes, so for example, heart disease, the risk was 47% higher. And in the case of cancer, it was 70% higher. So after I had been feeling all these feelings, after a while I had this beautiful peace come over me. And the insight that, you know, I don't have to fulfill something on the outside. I can just be myself, and by myself means I'm in love with that woman and I want to be with that woman, and that's it. End of story. So that peace really separated me from the paradigm outside of me. Because that's who we are. When we feel our feelings, we'll get in touch with our inner peace. And it's very similar to meditation, just to give you some research on this as well. Meditation, as we know, is associated with peacefulness that we experience between thoughts and between feelings. And there is such a large body of research out there. But there's actually a group of people from Johns Hopkins University that went the extra mile and really wanted to know it. So they sifted through 19,000 studies and found 47 that are properly designed. And even those 47 confirm the same thing, that meditation is associated with peacefulness and reduces, you know, depression, anxiety, pain. So step number 1, remove all labels and roles. Step number 2, feel your feelings. Step number 3, share your feelings. And that's what I did. When I felt the peace, I now felt comfortable sharing this with my family and with my friends. And you know, I didn't garner ridicule. I garnered a lot of support and a lot of love. And a deeper connection with myself and with them because I shared. And my childhood tools were rendered obsolete. And I was still lovable. Step number 4, go deeper. So the real breakthrough came for me when actually this girlfriend a few years later suddenly broke up with me. And that was when I was between jobs. So my heart really broke open. And at that point, there was no tucking away of feelings. I just shared. I shared with my family, with my friends, even people I didn't know so well. And it just deepened the knowledge about myself, the connection with myself and with others. So much so that one day I was sitting in my basement apartment, and you know, the light streaming in from those little windows up on top, and I'm sitting on my couch and I'm thinking, wow, at a time when I'm the poorest, no house, no car, no big income, I actually felt the richest because of those deep connections I had developed with friends. And those connections had become more meaningful than the connection I've ever had or I had ever had with my girlfriend at the time. So step number 5, keep peeling away the layers. So all these events have catapulted me on a journey of exploration and openness. And I've asked myself many questions. But most recently the question has been, well, what's the passion that I hold inside of me? And as I was feeling my feelings and sharing my feelings, I've been able to touch that. And it's been interesting because growing up I thought, well, either you're born with a passion, you want to be an astronaut or a scientist or a musician, artist, whatever, or you're not. And I thought I was in that latter group, but it's not true. We all have that within us. We all have that passion. Many of us just have to dig a little deeper. And I dug, and I reached it. And what it is, I'm passionate about helping people, inspiring people to live their life from the place of love and not the place of fear and limitations, the place that I had hung out for a long time. And creating this message, delivering it today, has been really scary. Has been scary to step into my light, as they say, but it's also been exciting and so worthwhile. And when you do that, when you find that passion and then love within you, it connects you with your greatness. It connects you with your life's purpose. Because when you do something you love doing, it's not work. You have the energy, the motivation, you're unwavering. You're going to be great at it. So what's the result of all these 5 steps? Well, peace. You will know yourself and love yourself and trust yourself. And with that, you will know and trust and love others. Connection. Connection with yourself and others. Being able to develop beautiful relationships. Greatness. You'll be living your life purposeful, according to your purpose, according to why you're here. And you'll be living a fulfilled life from the place of personal freedom and confidence and invulnerability. Because if you live your life and you don't worry about what other people think, well, it's wonderful. Gives you personal freedom, gives you confidence. If I make myself vulnerable like this, I become invulnerable. And if I don't project a persona, manage people, fear rejection, I save energy. I save energy that I can then use to be creative. So my road to discovery had been a long one, and in many regards I'm still on it. But with regards to the gay thing, well, that's history. That stopped identifying me a long time ago, and if I were to give it a milestone date, I would give it my wedding day. My wedding took place in September in 2006. And it was in the courtyard of our condo building, beautiful lush trees, bushes, wonderfully decorated. And I remember my wife-to-be, Jean, and I walking down the aisle and 59 pairs of eyes beaming at us. And I was beaming back. I was so proud and so happy. I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. And I was so present. It was just amazing. But what would it be like had I not taken those 5 steps? Well, I'd be going through life fearing rejection, not relaxed, not having a positive self-image, blocking myself, probably making myself sick. And what would my life look like? I'd live on my own, most likely. Maybe I'd be in a secret relationship with a woman, provided I find somebody who would play that game with me. Or I'd be with a man. In any event, I'd be in a non-fulfilling relationship with myself and with a partner. Many people live their life like that. So look at your life. Think about your life. Where's your life going to be in 6 months from now if you don't take certain steps? Are you living it according to somebody else's paradigms, giving up on your dreams? Are your dreams and goals and aspirations just out of reach so much forever and ever? Yeah, think about that, because that's what happens to people. But if you do take those 5 steps, as I said, there's peace, there's connection, there's greatness, and there's personal freedom. So let me challenge you. Let me challenge you that for the next 7 days, every time you eat, just before you eat, a meal or a snack, take a few seconds and just check in, how am I feeling? And again, just do that. Acknowledge your feelings. Don't make up a story. Don't become the victim. Don't judge or categorize in good or bad. Just feel and acknowledge that for a few seconds. And let's do that right now. Let's just take a few seconds and see what we're feeling. Okay? I felt something. And you know what? All of us here together in this room right now, we've come closer towards the life of our dreams. And if you keep on doing this, if you keep on feeling your feelings, you'll get closer and closer to the life you deserve, the life you were born to live. Thank you.